A very good morning to you, dear students, to your history class. Today we will continue our lesson in history, that is chapter 11, Struggle for Equality, part 2. Now in the first part we learnt and saw about the peasant movement, workers' union, socialist movement. In this part we will be learning about the feminist movement and other movements. Here you can see the picture of some famous female women revolutionaries who helped in the deliverance of women and helped women to come out from the slavery and liberated them. Here you can see there are 4 feminist empowerment revolutionaries. Let us find out about them. Now in the second module of the explanation of part 2, we'll learn about the feminist movement, that is the women's emancipation. What do you mean by emancipation, children? It means freedom from legal, social or political restrictions. Then we'll look about Ramabai, who established the Arya Mahila Samaj and the Sharda Sadan. Then we'll see about Seva Sadan, who was founded by Ramabai and Ranade. Then we'll look at All India's Women Conference. And lastly, we'll come to know about Red Cross Society, which was held at Rajkot. After we complete the feminist movement, we will look at the Dalit community. That is the Dalit movement, which was led by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. This is the final part of this lesson, so pay attention, children. Thank you.
My dear students, today in Standard 8th History we will be learning the topic Struggle for Equality. We have already started this topic, and in the first part of this topic we people learnt about peasant movement, workers union, socialist movement, and now in today's part we are going to learn about feminist movement and the Dalit movement. On the screen now you can see the slides of our previous part of this lesson: workers union, then the socialist movement, communism of Karl Marx, formation of Communist Party, and now today we are going to start with the point feminist movement. Now in short or in general, to understand the concept of the feminist movement, we can call it as women's movement, or we can say that the movement which talks about or which asks to give the rights of women, that movement is called feminist movement. Or in general, the voice of the feminist movement is for the women. So in the Indian social system, women were given secondary position. Everywhere women were given secondary position, and if you people go through the history of our country, then you can easily understand the place or the position of women in our society. Due to many evil practices, for example like sati pratha or like kesh weapon, they were subjected to injustice, or bal vivaha is one of them, then not allowing to widow marriages. So but during the modern period there was an awakening against it. Some of the male reformers took initiative in the reform movement related to women, and in the course of time women leaders started coming forward, started asking for their right, started writing material, started writing the things or raising voice against their injustice. So their independent institutes, organizations came to be established, like peasant movement or workers union और सोशलिस्ट मूवमेंट, वैसे अलग अलग ग्रुप्स या ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जिसे हम कहेंगे वो भी स्टार्ट हुए बनना. अबाउट दैट वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी टुडे. So in this, the first name is of Pandita Ramabai, who established the Arya Mahila Samaj and Sharda Sadan. Similarly, Seva Sadan, founded by Ramabai Ranade, are examples of this. So these were the first organizations, we can say, which started the working for women in our country: Arya Mahila Samaj, Sharda Sadan and Seva Sadan of Ramabai Ranade. Then Bharat Mahila Parishad and All India Women's Conference were founded as well. Now through these organizations, awareness among the women started. Therefore, this institutional work reached at the national level. And for the issues such as right to inheritance, right to vote, etc., women had to struggle through the medium of these organizations. Again, same thing I am going to repeat here. अगर आप पूरी हिस्ट्री की पढ़ाई करेंगे बिफोर इंडिपेंडेंस हमारे इंडियन सोसाइटी की, तो ये सारे अधिकार जो है वो हमारे देश के वुमेन को नहीं थे. इवन राइट ऑफ एजुकेशन वॉज नॉट देयर. सो it was started through these feminist movements. Ramabai Janardhan Save was the first practicing woman doctor in India. She delivered series of lectures related to health issues of women, and she also opened a branch of Red Cross Society at Rajkot. And during the 20th century, participation of women in public life began to increase. Before that, it was not allowed for the women to cross the door. घर के बाहर निकलना उन्हें allowed नहीं था. But during the 20th century, participation of women in public life began to increase. Women's participation in the national movement and revolutionary work was significant, and we people already learnt about that. After the Act of 1935, women were included in the provincial ministers as well. And this was not the small thing. Because of all such measures or because of all such things, women were participated on large scale in the feminist movement. After independence, the principle of equality of men and women has been clearly stated in the Constitution of India, and that was the thing which changed Indian society totally, which changed the position of women in the Indian society. And the result of all these things we can see today in each and every field. Today we are having women, and which is the good thing for our society. After independence, principle of equality of men and women has been clearly stated in the Constitution of India. Now, like Ramabai Janardhan Save, Dr. Anandibai Joshi, first Indian female doctor. Her son lived a life of only 10 days and then died. Son lived a life of only 10 days and then died. This sorrow became responsible for inspiring her to study medicine. उन्हें ऐसे लगा कि अगर ये मेरे साथ हुआ है तो और कितनी महिलाएं ऐसी होंगी या कितने लोग ऐसे होंगे कि उनके बच्चों के साथ भी ये होता होगा. तो इससे सॉल्व करने का, इस प्रॉब्लम को ख़त्म करने का तरीका क्या है? इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू स्टडी फर्दर, एंड दैट्स वाई शी एक्वायर्ड MD degree in 1886. Just think about the year. And while returning to India, Anandibai contracted tuberculosis. Later on 16th February 1887, she died in Pune. And now we are going to talk about Dalit movement. This was the thing about which we are going to talk. In short, we can call it as untouchability, or the discrimination on the basis of caste, discrimination on the basis of the place of birth. Discrimination in Indian society was the biggest problem in front of our society, or in establishing equality in the society. So Dalit movement played very important role in this. The Indian social structure was based on inequality. Social structure was based on equality. Social reformers like Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Narayan Guru brought about awakening of the people against the unjust treatment given to Dalits in the society. Here this word is very important, unjust treatment to the Dalit people. Education was not allowed, then the water at the common places was not also allowed, and working in the places where all can work was also not allowed. तो ये सारी तरह से बंदी बनाए रखा हुआ था. So following the teachings of Mahatma Phule, Gopal Baba Walankar and Shivram Janba Kamble worked for the eradication of untouchability. In 1888, Gopal Baba Walankar in his book Vital Vidwans condemned untouchability. Then Shivram Janba Kamble started the magazine Somvanshiya Mitra on 1st July 1908. He raised voice regarding issues of Murlis and Joktis. Now this thing was same like the Sati Pratha, जो भगवान के लिए छोड़ा जाता था इन लोगों को, फिर उन्हें एजुकेशन नहीं मिलता था और एक जगह से दूसरी जगह घूमना पड़ता था और उनके साथ बहुत ज़्यादा इनजस्टिस हुआ करता था. ऐसी बहुत सारी इश्यूज़ हमारे सोसाइटी में थे जिनके खिलाफ हमारे सोशल रिफॉर्मर्स ने आवाज़ उठाई अलग अलग तरीक़ों से. He also took initiative for marriages of Devdasis, and then in Tamil Nadu, Periyar Ramaswamy started a movement for eradication of untouchability. So the same thing here again also, जैसे हमारा फ्रीडम मूवमेंट था जो देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में चल रहा था और अलग अलग लीडर्स थे, उनके अलग अलग जगहों पे अलग अलग नेशनल लीडर ने ये मूवमेंट स्टार्ट किया था, वैसे ही सोशल मूवमेंट जो है वो भी अलग अलग एरिया में अलग अलग लीडर्स ने स्टार्ट किया था. जैसे महात्मा फुले थे नेशनल लीडर, पेरियार रामास्वामी जिन्होंने तमिलनाडु में ये मूवमेंट जोरों शोर से चलाया, विच वॉज फॉर इरेडिकेशन ऑफ अनटचेबिलिटी एंड टू मेंटेन इक्वालिटी or to establish equality in the society. Then in 1906, Maharshi Vitthal Ramji Shinde, very important name again, started the depressed classes mission for the progress of the Dalits. The important part of their work was to make Dalits self-respectful, well educated and engaged in work. ये सारी चीज़ें अगर आ जाती थी तो सोसाइटी में इक्वालिटी बनना आसान था. एंड दैट्स वाई महर्षि विठल रामजी शिंदे started to make the Dalits self-respectful, well educated and engaged in work. While the second part of their work was to destroy the delusive ideas regarding Dalits in the minds of the upper caste. This was again very important. अगर इक्वालिटी बनाना है, सोसाइटी में इक्वालिटी मेंटेन करना है, then it is very important to throw out the thought of untouchability or to throw out the delusive ideas regarding Dalits in the minds of the upper caste. जब तक लोगों के दिमाग से untouchability नहीं जाएगी तब तक सोसाइटी में इक्वालिटी नहीं आएगी. ये महर्षि विठल रामजी शिंदे का थॉट था. एंड फॉर दिस पर्पज ही फाउंडेड मराठी स्कूल्स, वर्क स्कूल्स इन पार्ट्स ऑफ परेल, देवनार इन मुंबई. ही एक्चुअली टुक पार्ट फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ दलित क्लास रिगार्डिंग सत्याग्रह फॉर एंट्री इन पर्वती टेम्पल एट पुणे, शेतकरी परिषद ऑफ दलित्स, फेडरल इलेक्टोरेट एटसेट्रा. सो Maharshi Vitthal Ramji Shinde, we can say that they laid the foundation for the social equality in the different parts of Maharashtra. Then next to that, very important names, Rajashri Shahu Maharaj and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Rajarshi Shahu gave support to the leadership of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and during his period he led the non-Brahmin movement. So Rajarshi Shahu Maharaj made revolutionary declaration. Rajarshi Shahu Maharaj made revolutionary declaration for reservation in state of Kolhapur. Today we are having reservations, reservation seats and reservation policies in the different schemes, or in the field of education or in politics. It was started by Rajarshi Shahu Maharaj in his state. He made a law for free and compulsory primary education. Today we are having free and compulsory education, or primary free and compulsory education. This was basically first started by Rajarshi Shahu Maharaj. Not to this, but he did substantial work for abolition of caste distinction. He passed the act of intercaste marriage and gave it a legal acceptance in his state. Why? Because there were 3 restrictions put up in the caste system. Interdining, अलग अलग कास्ट के लोग एक साथ खाना नहीं खाते थे. इंटर मैरिज, अलग अलग कास्ट के लोगों के शादियाँ नहीं होती थी. एंड चेंज ऑफ ऑक्यूपेशन, आपको आपकी फैमिली से जो बिजनेस चला रहा है वही बिजनेस करना पड़ता था, जनरेशन टू जनरेशन. सो in these regards, during meetings and conferences, Shahu Maharaj ate food from the hands of Dalit people and overthrew the restriction on inter-dining. This was not simple thing, though it is very easy for us to listen today. But if we people think about that period or imagine about that period, then it was not that much easy for the people to think such type of thoughts. But Shahu Maharaj purposely did all these things. Shahu Maharaj believed that till the restriction on intermarriage is followed, till then the caste distinction will not be uprooted, and that's why he passed the act of intercaste marriage and gave it a legal acceptance in his state. तो जितना कुछ शाहू महाराज इक्वालिटी के लिए कर सकते थे उतना उन्होंने अपने स्टेट में किया. On 22nd February 1918, he abolished the balutedari system by publishing a declaration in the government gazette of the state of Kolhapur. Permission was granted to practice any occupation by anyone. So in balutedari system basically क्या होता था कि जैसे मैंने पहले आपको बताया कि फैमिली बिजनेस जो है वही आगे करना पड़ता था. दो यू आर हैविंग कैपेसिटीज और यू कुड डू द डिफरेंट थिंग, लेकिन आपको वही करना पड़ता था. बाय गिविंग फ्रीडम ऑफ ऑक्यूपेशन बाय शाहू महाराज, द पीपल वर फ्रीड फ्रॉम अ टाइप ऑफ सोशल स्लेवरी. अगेन दिस वर्ड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हियर, सोशल स्लेवरी. ये जो सामाजिक गुलामी थी उससे आज़ादी शाहू महाराज ने लोगों को दे दी. Next one now, the Justice Party did valuable work for social equality in South India. Mahatma Gandhi took up the issue of eradication of untouchability in his hands and put it up on the platform of Indian National Congress. As Indian National Congress was the biggest party at that time and the only party we can say where all the people were there, from all the caste, from all the religions and from all the parts of the country. तो कोई भी एक इशू जब इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस के पास जाता था तो वो नेशनल इशू बन जाता था. एंड दैट्स व्हाई महात्मा गांधी also took up the issue of eradication of untouchability in his hands and put up on the platform of Indian National Congress. While at Erwada prison, he debated with the rigid Hindu Pandits, stating that the religious texts of Hindus do not support untouchability. He gave inspiration to Harijan Sevak Sangh. By taking inspiration from him, Amrut Lal Vittaldas Thakkar or Thakkar Bappa, Appasaheb Patwardhan, etc. These activists dedicatedly worked for equality. So again, the thing which is very important here for us to understand is that the सिर्फ ब्रिटिशों से आज़ादी मिलके फ़ायदा नहीं होने वाला था अगर इंडियन सोसाइटी में इक्वालिटी नहीं होती. सो एट द सेम टाइम फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल भी चल रहा है और ये सारे लीडर्स इक्वालिटी की मूवमेंट भी चला रहे थे. नाउ इन दिस वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नेम ऑफ डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर, फाइनली हु succeeded in giving the rights to the Dalit people in India, or we can say through constitution he established equality in the society. The struggle of the Dalits began under the leadership of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, whom Dr. Shahu Maharaj supported. He aimed at establishing a society based on principles of liberty, equality and fraternity. Now about all these things you people already learned in the civics of standard 7th, where you people learnt about Indian constitution. So you know the meaning of liberty, you know the meaning of equality, you know the meaning of fraternity, and at the same time you know the importance of all these things in the society. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was convinced that the injustice to the Dalits and inequality would not end unless the caste system was completely uprooted. अगर हमें इक्वालिटी चाहिए तो कास्ट सिस्टम को पूरी तरह से निकालना पड़ेगा. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम सोशल इक्वालिटी वाज द राइट ऑफ द दलित्स. He intended to carry out a movement based on self-respect, and from this point of view he established the Bahishkrut Hitkarni Sabha in July 1924. Then the very important thought given by him to the people of India: be educated, be organized and be agitated. शिका, संगठित हुआ, संघर्ष करा. आपको पढ़ना है, ऑर्गेनाइज होना है और अपने अधिकारों के लिए लड़ाई लड़नी है. सो बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर वर्कड वेरी डिफरेंटली इन establishing the equality in the society or in the struggle for equality. Baba Saheb Bole got a bill passed in the Bombay Provincial Assembly for the public water reservoirs to be opened to the untouchables. Now by this thing you people can easily understand the situation of that period or the situation of the Dalit people of that period. ऐसा बिल जो है वो असेंबली में पारित करना पड़ता था जिससे लोगों को ये अधिकार मिले कि पब्लिक वाटर रिजर्वर्स जो है वहाँ पर वो पानी भर सके. इसका मतलब उन्हें वहाँ का पानी पीने का भी आज़ादी नहीं थी, पानी लेकर वहाँ से भरने का अधिकार भी नहीं था. अब ये बिल पारित होने के बाद भी however in reality the water reservoirs were not accessible to the Dalits, and hence Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and his followers started Satyagraha at Chaudhar Lake in Mahad. He also burned the Manusmriti, which advocated inequality, the book in which the inequality thoughts are there. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar burned the Manusmriti there. In 1930 he started Satyagraha for the entry of Dalits in Kalaram temple at Nashik. This Satyagraha was led by Karmavir Dada Saheb Gaikwad. Here you can see Nashik Kalaram Mandir Pravesh Satyagraha, and in the image you can see Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and Dada Saheb Gaikwad. Newspapers was an integral part of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's movement. As we people already learnt about this, that the different national leaders or the different organizations started their own newspapers to spread their ideology, to spread their philosophy and to attract the people towards their organization. The same thing happened here. newspaper at that period play a very important role in spreading the movement. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's movement started different newspapers, and to create awakening in the society and to voice out their grief, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar started newspaper like Muk Nayak, Bahishkrut Bharat, Janta, Samta, and through all these newspapers he spread awareness among the people and also wrote about the rights of the people. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar established the Independent Labour Party. He opposed the laws that went against the interest of the workers. In 1942, he established All India Scheduled Caste Federation to put forth the issue of Dalits in an effective manner. So if you people study in detail about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, then you can easily understand that he not only worked for the Dalit of the country, but he worked for all the members of society or all the parts of our society, for workers, for women, and for Dalit, and for the common people of our country. Through the Constitution of India, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar made a significant contribution. Again, here this is very important. He made a significant contribution to the creation of a social structure based on equality in modern India. Today we are having our rights, today we are enjoying our rights. All these things are mentioned in the Constitution. I am not going to repeat all these things because you people already learnt this in the civics. So one thing here which is very important to understand, that through the Constitution of India, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar made a significant contribution to the creation of a social structure based on equality in modern India. Now on the screen you can see the image of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. In 1956, along with his innumerable followers, he embraced Buddhism that advocated humanity and equality. So the struggle for equality has a prominent position in the making of modern India. And today in India we are having equality, we are having liberty, we are having fraternity. So all these things are nothing but the fruits of the movements or the struggle for equality. So in today's part, people learnt about the feminist movement and the Dalit movement. In the topic struggle for equality, in the first part we people learnt about peasant movement, then workers union, socialist movement, and today about feminist movement and Dalit movement. Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications.